They were one of Hollywood's hottest couples, but this week, after 4 years, Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel have called it quits. Now, Us Weekly is reporting that Justin wanted to break up with Jessica 2 years ago. We all know that breaking up can be hard to do. See, it took Justin years to do it. So what can you do to get out of a relationship when you really don't want to be there anymore? Relationship expert Dr. Margaret McCraw joins us this morning with some tips on how to do that, because that's a hard time for people.
It is. And you know, people stay in relationships just like they stay in jobs. That's not a good fit. It's a comfort zone for them. So they'll sit with it for a long time before they'll move.
So what has to prompt a person to take that first step? Because they are comfortable, maybe you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. How do you take the first step?
Well, one, you have to trust your gut.
Okay.
And you have to start paying attention to your gut. I tell people to set the highest degree of integrity, because when you set that intention for yourself, it kind of guides you so that you can trust your gut. People will say, well, I can't trust my gut because I feel this way today, tomorrow I feel differently. Start paying attention to that consistent feeling. If this relationship is feeling bad, you don't have to analyze it to death. Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? And if it's constantly feeling bad to you,
it's time to go.
It's time to go.
And then once you go, you have to go. You can't go back and forth. You have to be clear about that, because that sounds like what happens to him. He wanted to go, but he got back in.
Yes. And I want to make the point, too, before you go, address it with your partner, because some people never talk about these things with one another. I know, they just let it all build up and then they leave. And actually they might have had a really wonderful partner that they could have worked things out with. So remember, first of all, to let your partner know how you're feeling, what you're thinking along the way, and give them a chance to work things out with you. And then when it's not working, yes.
But do people feel pressured at that point? You know, oh, I don't want to let the other person down. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I'm afraid to talk about it with them because really I know I want to go. I don't want them to convince me to come back.
Yes, that's true. And so one of the first things you have to do is be absolutely clear in your own mind. Because if you're not clear, then people go back and forth for years. And it's torturous for themselves and for their partner. Get clear.
And you, in talking to them, you know, is your point. And do that before you go and talk to everybody else about it.
Oh, yes. Because you know what? People, especially mutual friends, they go back and they think they're helping, but it's the worst possible thing they could do. And so you have to really stop talking to people all over the place. Start paying attention to how you feel, and then have one or two people you can really trust completely, and help them, ask them to help you work through your feelings about all of that.
And not that we want people to break up. I mean, if it's time to go, then you know it's time to go, but how can you tell if it's salvageable?
Well, again, you have to work it, you have to communicate to your partner what you're feeling, what you're concerned about. Take responsibility. You know the mistake that a lot of people make? They get into blaming. They blame themselves and they blame their partner. So when they get into that blame game, you can't go anywhere. But if you take responsibility for how you feel, not say, you made me feel this way, you did this to me. It's, I feel this way when this happens between us. Very different energy around it. When you take responsibility, then you can start to actually get to the core of the issue and begin to work it through with your partner. If it's workable, and if it's not, you'll go round and round on the same issues.
All right, well, you know what, we have people who are doing that. Our relationship expert is taking all your questions about love. The lines are open now, 410-481-4545. You can also post a question on our Facebook page. Dr. Margaret McCraw is back. And our first caller is Kia in Baltimore. Good morning, Kia.
Good morning.
What's your question?
Okay, I just wanted to ask her, what do you do when you have a relationship without trust?
Ooh, what do you do with no trust?
Okay, well, to be honest, you can't really have an intimate relationship without trust. Now, if trust has been broken, that doesn't mean you can't regain trust. But you're going to have to go back and talk with the person about what happened. And when trust has been broken, it is very helpful to have a third party, a professional, to help you talk through the issues.
And try and see if it can be saved.
See if it can be saved, exactly.
All right, we got a lot of people who wrote in on Facebook. Jay was one of them. Jay says, I'm talking to a lot of girls and I can't choose one. But at the end of the day, I'm lonely. What should I do?
Get clear about what you want. Okay, that's very beginning, in the very beginning, you have to do that because so many people focus on what they don't want. But if you can get clear, and I suggest that you even write it down. What kind of person are you looking for in your life? Do you want them to be generous, thoughtful, smart? What works? Do you want to have things in common with them? Is it somebody that you would like to do things with? Like, do you ski? Whatever you do you like movies? Do you want to be compatible in those ways? Once you get clear, then it'll be much more obvious to you who you want to be with, who you want to attract, the kind of person you want to spend your time with.
All right. Hope that helps you out there, Jay. China says, how do you know when a man loves you or is in love with you if they won't say it?
Well, a lot of people say it and they don't feel it. So it's really a heart connection. You know by the way they treat you. Is there respect? Is there the way they handle things when you're celebrating things in your life? Are they there with you? Are they with you when you're having conflict or problems? Are they standing beside you? You know if somebody is standing beside you.
You do. You can absolutely tell that. All right, let's go back to the phones. Dwayne from Baltimore is on the line. Good morning, Dwayne.
Good morning.
What is your question?
Yes, my question is, me and my wife, me and her be getting into a lot of arguments, and I wanted to know, is there anything it is to do to stop that from happening?
Just to not argue so much.
Yes, there is. That's a great question because a lot of people go through this. What you want to do is schedule a time to talk with her, not when you're in the midst of the argument. Say, Saturday morning, we're going to go out of our house, away from your regular environment. Go have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever you do. Get away and make the focus how you're doing with one another. And then it'll become more clear because a lot of times when you're arguing, there's a root cause. It just keeps showing up over and over and over again. So when you get away from your environment, you get away from your house and you schedule time to say, let's figure out how we can have harmony. And let harmony be your focus. How can we have peace? How can we have harmony? How can we move this relationship forward? Not about, hey, we argue, let's analyze what we're arguing about.
Okay.
It'll come together for you.
All right, do we have time for another Facebook? Okay, we do have time for Facebook. Carla says, I was hurt in my last relationship, and sometimes I hold on to that so much, I push too much in my new one. So how do I just let go?
Okay, the fact that you want to let go, the fact that you're clear you need to let go, that's huge. That's the first step because most people don't realize that. So when you set that intention, I'm going to relax into this relationship, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to release